They say no one dares step inside the abandoned mansion at the edge of Black Hollow, but when Ethan and his friends did, they uncovered something terrifying, something that was never meant to be disturbed. A single note played on an untouched piano, a whisper in the darkness, and then, one by one, they realized they were not alone. The night was still. The town of Black Hollow lay in silence, shrouded in an eerie fog that curled through the narrow streets like ghostly fingers. A single street lamp flickered outside an old, abandoned mansion at the edge of town. The house had been empty for years, yet on certain nights, shadows danced behind its broken windows. Ethan and his friends had always been curious about the mansion. Local legends spoke of a family that once lived there, a father, a mother, and their daughter, Abigail. One night, without warning, the entire family vanished. The townspeople whispered about strange noises, blood-curdling screams, and lights that flickered in the empty halls. "We do it quickly," Ethan said, his voice barely louder than a whisper. "In and out, just enough to say we did it." Sophie, Jake, and Mia exchanged glances. They were nervous, but the thrill of the unknown was too tempting to resist. With a deep breath, they stepped through the rusted gate, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The air inside the mansion was thick with dust and the scent of decay. The wooden floor creaked beneath their feet, each step echoing through the hollow halls. Their beams of light flickered across peeling wallpaper, shattered picture frames, and furniture draped in tattered white sheets. "This place is a tomb," Sophie muttered, wrapping her arms around herself. Then came the first sound, soft, barely audible, but unmistakable. A child's laughter. Mia gasped. "Did you hear that?" Ethan swung his flashlight around, but the hall was empty. "Probably just the wind," he said, though he didn't believe it. They moved deeper into the house, their footsteps careful, measured. In the grand living room, an old piano stood covered in dust. The keys were yellowed, untouched for decades. "Someone should play a tune," Jake joked, forcing a laugh. The moment he spoke, a single piano key pressed down. A high, shrill note rang out. Mia clutched Ethan's arm. "That wasn't funny." "It wasn't me," Jake whispered, stepping back. The piano played another note, then another, a slow, deliberate melody that sent chills crawling up their spines. A sudden thud from upstairs froze them in place. "We need to go," Sophie whispered, her breath hitching. "Right now." But Ethan was already moving, drawn by something unseen. He climbed the stairs, each step groaning beneath his weight. The hallway stretched before them, lined with closed doors. At the far end, one door stood ajar, revealing a dimly lit room. Inside, a small wooden chair faced an old vanity mirror. The glass was cloudy, warped. A single doll sat on the chair, its porcelain face cracked, one glass eye missing. "Let's go," Mia pleaded. "We saw enough." But Ethan stepped closer, drawn to the mirror. His reflection flickered, distorting. The face staring back at him wasn't his own. The eyes were hollow, black as night, the mouth twisted into a silent scream. Then the whisper came, "You shouldn't be here." The door slammed shut behind them. Sophie screamed. Mia pounded on the wood, but it wouldn't budge. The room grew cold, the air thick with the scent of rotting flowers. The doll's head turned, slowly, unnaturally, until it faced them. Ethan staggered back. "This isn't real. This isn't." The mirror shattered, shards flying in all directions. A figure emerged from the broken glass, its form shifting like smoke. Abigail. Her dress was tattered, her hands skeletal. "Stay with me," she whispered, her voice layered with echoes. "Play with me. Forever." A force yanked Ethan forward. His friend screamed, grabbing at him, but his body twisted, vanishing into the darkness of the mirror. The door burst open, throwing them out into the hall. They scrambled to their feet, running, stumbling, desperate to escape. As they reached the front door, they hesitated. Behind them, the mirror stood untouched, whole. Ethan was gone. A child's laughter filled the house. Then silence. The three of them never spoke of that night again. They left Black Hollow, haunted by memories of what they saw. But the house remained, waiting. And on certain nights, if you listen closely, you can hear a whisper,